you up to?
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, didn't have to go too far this morning, just out of the garage and right here to the circle in front of WUSA 9. We are grilling this morning because rain or shine, we've all got to eat. This guy, he brought the Weber grill, and guess what? He also brought all of the meat. So let's talk to you, Jamie. You are Weber's grill master. So tell us what we're making this morning.
We're making a couple of appetizers from Weber's greatest hits.
Appetizers? I thought we were talking steak.
Well, we are, but sometimes you want to incorporate steak into an appetizer. I think an appetizer, since there's usually only 1 or 2 bites, should pack a real punch, you know, it should have a lot of flavor.
And this one does. You've already started to season this filet mignon. Tell us about how you did it.
Well, it's just oil, salt and pepper. You oil pretty much everything that goes on the grill with a little salt and pepper. The flavor is going to come from the grill itself. You're going to get that sear, you're going to get that smokiness. So if you'll just step out of the way for a minute, I'm going to show you. I've got the grill.
If it's too hot, get out of the grill area. Okay, so now
these are going down on direct heat. Okay, you want to see some smoke. You want to have some sizzle there right away.
How high is the heat? And does it matter with the thickness of the cut?
It does. That's a really good question because the smaller the cut, the higher the heat. This is about 500 degrees now. I want to achieve a nice sear on the outside because that sear not only looks good, but it tastes good, right? That's where you develop flavor.
Is it still going to cook in the middle then, if it's that high?
Absolutely. Particularly if we close the lid. This is really important tip. A lot of people leave the lid open and all the good flavor is sort of drifting off into your neighbor's backyard, not doing you a whole lot of good. So close the lid, trap the flavor, keep the grate nice and hot. Now over here on this side burner, we've got kind of the condiment for this little crostini.
It smells yummy, like caramelized onions.
Caramelized with some balsamic vinegar and brown sugar. Really nice kind of sweet and sour condiment. So let's go ahead and assemble some of this.
And it also goes with another component, which I want you to tell me about in a second, but can you tell us how like the pairings are complementing each other, or contrasting, you know, or cutting through the meat that's really
you're just
yummy?
Sort of getting hit on every level on your taste buds. You got the smokiness of the grill, the meatiness obviously of the beef, the sweet and sour quality of this little jam, and then on top, I'm going to finish it with a bit of this sour cream and horseradish, which has got a little kick to it, of course, you know, with that horseradish. This is sort of a play on the old holiday roast with the roast beef and the horseradish sauce. A little chive to make it look good and taste better. And there you go. That's one of the great hits from Weber's greatest hits.
Now, I just want to ask, because I think my problem is taking a bite of this. I can't do it in one bite. I have to take one bite, and then I'll have like the white all over me, and then meat. Any tips there?
I've actually got a tip for you. You grill the bread, but the thing is, don't grill it on both sides, because then it gets really hard and it sort of shatters in your mouth into 1,000 pieces. If you grill it on one side, it's toasted, but it doesn't shatter. It kind of gives, and it's a little chewy, and it's much easier to eat.
I don't know about you guys. I don't want any bread shattering in my mouth. Speaking of only grilling on one side, that's not what you do with the steak. You said that you are going to flip it, but just once, right?
Just once, and the steak will pretty much tell you when it's ready. Initially, it'll stick, right? But if I try to roll it over, see, now it's telling me that it's about ready to release. It's not quite, actually. Let's try this one. See, this one is stuck? The mistake people make is now they dig underneath there to try to get it off of the grate, and they tear the steak, and they leave that most beautiful caramelized quality of the beef on the grate. You want that on your plate or on your crostini. Right. So leave it alone, let it go another minute with the lid down.
Hey, does this man speak steak or what? We're going to have more from him later in the hour, so guys, stay with us. We'll send it over to you now, though, in the studio.
You almost got burned.
Hey, guys, and look who else came out here, Chris.
Hi, it's me.
But he doesn't get to have any of the steak, only the vegetable stuff. I'm just kidding, Chris.
No,
it's cooked
like
just
veggies.
to perfection. I
Yeah,
know you
it's
do.
beautiful.
You always eat my leftovers when I have some leftovers.
No,
of veggies.
she eats like a bunny. Is this brain? How do you cook brain? Or is this some kind of vegetable here? Does that make you smarter?
Actually, it probably does.
Yeah. What is this,
The
Jamie?
grill master here is going to tell us what this is, because it's not just about meat when we're cooking on the grill.
No, this is an Italian eggplant dish called caponata on bruschetta. You have to say chetta, right? Or the Italians will get upset with you. Bruschetta, which is the toasted bread with some goat cheese underneath it.
Well, we're Irish, so we're just going to let you say it. Chris, if you want to stick that down and tell us how that is in just a second. But first things first is the steps on the eggplant as well as the onions.
Sure.
What are you doing? What are you doing here?
So you can grill the eggplant and the onions just as is with some oil and salt and pepper. But I know some people find that eggplant can be bitter. And it can, particularly if it has a lot of seeds in it. I don't know if you've ever noticed that. So what you can do, it's about a half an hour before you grill it, you pretty aggressively salt the eggplant. And the salt does an amazing thing. It actually pulls out a lot of that bitter juice. Wow. So now you're left with something nice and savory to grill.
Hang on, let's get a reaction from the non-cooker here.
Wow.
I saw the jaws
that is really
dropping
neat.
there.
Good tip. Okay.
So now these are ready for the grill. They're oiled and salt and peppered.
Now, as you put them on here, all I can think of is the fact that we just had big, yummy steaks on here. So what about our vegetarian friends who are like, I can't have any meat on my vegetables. What the heck are you doing here, host?
No problem whatsoever. Well, first of all, fire is the great purifier. So if you crank up the burners on high and you close the lid, get it up to about 500 degrees, it's going to burn off. It's going to incinerate anything that's on those grates.
How long?
Maybe 10 minutes.
Okay.
That's all you need. And then with a nice brass bristle brush, just scrape off those bits and pieces and you're left with just metal.
No way.
Totally clean.
And it's safe for our vegetarian friends to eat.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, you heard it here, so I guess we're good to go, Chris.
Yes.
Then you also want to grill the bread for this. This is the bruschetta part.
You already told us just one side.
Yeah, I do.
What's
just
another
one
tip?
side. See how nice and soft it is? Well, if you like garlic, as I do, you can just rub the garlic because it's warm off the grill, and it just it seeps into the bread. It's
Can
really
Chris do the rest of those
It's like
to help you out
instant
here?
garlic bread. Oh, go
I
ahead.
don't want my dirty fingers.
Chris,
I would love
get busy.
Nope,
dirty
get in
fingers.
there.
Really?
That's what you have to do when you're cooking outside.
I love garlic. I always wanted these things. I will eat them.
What, whole?
Yes,
Challenge.
I can.
All right,
I
so
can
as
do
he's
that.
doing
So
this,
that-
what's something else that you do as far as this recipe goes?
Okay, well, we're going to combine all the ingredients. We got those grilled vegetables. They go in here with a bunch of other beautiful Italian ingredients. We've got fresh tomato, olives, capers. Yeah, there's some garlic in there.
Not with your dirty hands.
There's a balsamic vinegar and olive oil in there. There's some fresh basil. We got a
Did
down
Chris just drop the garlic?
It's okay.
This I told
3
you
seconds.
earlier.
We're good.
No,
Give me
please,
some.
I'm not eating that. I told you earlier that he doesn't cook. All right, now you got the goat
Then
cheese.
you get some nice goat cheese, any kind of spreadable cheese, but I kind of like the tanginess of that goat cheese with those beautiful grilled vegetables. You pile that on there. And this, by the way, you can make well ahead of time, this caponata. It actually gets better as it sits.
Yeah, it probably marinates in its own juices.
That's right. And
How
then
did
we
you-
set these out for your friends and family, and you are a hero.
So, Chris, what were you going
That's
to say?
some pretty good bruschetta
There
right
you
there.
go.
That's
You Italian?
Does he look Italian?
Bruschetta. I think it's I always say bruschetta. What do you say, bruschetta or bruschetta?
I just say I'd like some of this, please,
Yeah.
right
It
now.
looks delicious. Good stuff.
It's
And
great. These are both recipes. Actually, these are all recipes from Weber's Greatest Hits, including this dessert. I don't know if you know that, Chris and Meaghan, but you can do fabulous desserts.
It looks like
On
the
the
fruit's
grill?
grilled.
On the grill, the pineapples are grilled ahead of time, and then they're put down in a pan with this lovely brown sugar and butter mixture, and then you put a batter on top. You cook the whole thing over indirect heat, and then at the very end, there's this ta-da moment where you flip the entire pan out onto a platter, and you get this gorgeous grilled pineapple.
Would you be offended if I tried a bite of this
You
pineapple?
should try it. It's worth it.
Okay.
It really
I'll
is
have a bite of the
delicious.
pineapple. You have a bite of the cake, Chris.
Everybody loves pineapple upside down cake, but when you grill it, you're adding another layer of flavor, and that's always a nice thing.
And the juices don't come out when you grill it?
No, it's like as you can see, it's perfect.
It's really
It is
good.
perfect.
Every
I'd like
time.
to, Jamie. You're so wonderful. I'd like to offer both of you an opportunity to either smell or lick my fingers because the garlic is awesome. And, does garlic go well with these as well?
Now let's separate the garlic. Let's do that in the first course. We'll leave the sweet pineapple for the second course, or in the third.
No, that works.
All right, any last tips that you can give to folks at home? 15 seconds as far as grilling on their Weber this season.
Well, I would say give yourself at least a couple of zones of heat on the grill. Don't just cook everything over direct. You should have an indirect area. It's kind of a safety zone. What's one of the basic tips I've got? In Weber's Greatest Hits, there's the top 10 tips for grilling greatness.
And
Check
you heard it
out.
here first. We'll be back on Monday. Have a great
Have a great
weekend,
weekend.
everybody.
See you at 9.